All right, guys, today we're going to talk about a literal equation. A literal equation is an equation with one or more variables. Okay, so let's look. So if we have this simple equation here, we know we're going to solve by doing inverse operation of -7 on both sides. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other. That cancels out. I'm left with x equals -19. Okay, so what is different? Whenever we have a literal equation, we're going to solve for a variable. So we need to get a all by itself. So that means we need to move this plus b. So just like over here we had the +7, we subtracted 7, we're going to subtract the letter b. That's going to cancel out. We're going to be left with a by itself, which is what we wanted. These two are not like terms, so we can't combine those. So we just have c minus b. Okay, so let's look at another one. And here, we're going to solve for y. So we know to add 9 to both sides. We get y equals 43. So here I'm solving for d. So it's d minus e. So if I need to get d by itself, I need to move e. So instead of subtracting e, I'm going to add e to both sides. That leaves me d equals f plus e. So I can't combine those because there's not alike terms there. Okay, hopefully this is making sense. Okay, problem number 3. Here we're solving for x. So this is -6 times x. So we know the opposite would be to divide both sides because whatever we do to one side, we have to do to both sides equation. -6 divided by -6 is just 1. So -30 divided by -6 is +5. So if we apply the same practice over here, we're trying to get r by itself. So this is 2, remember this is the pi r, 2 times pi times r. So we're going to divide, we need to get rid of that 2 and the pi. So the 2 cancels, the pi cancels, and on this side it leaves me r. Whatever I do to one side, I have to make sure I am doing to both sides. So my final answer is C divided by 2 pi. Okay, I think we're getting it. So let's look at number 4. Here, y divided by -4 equals 8. So if I'm getting y by itself, I'm going to need to multiply both sides of my equation by -4 because multiplying is the opposite of dividing. And then we know that -4 and that would cancel out. We get y equals positive times a negative is a negative 32. Same principle. I need to get this m by itself, so I need to get the v as being divided. So I'm going to multiply both sides by v. I get dv equals m. Okay, guys, I hope this is making sense. Okay, so let's look at the next problem here. I'm going to solve for y. So it's getting a little bit more complicated now because it just doesn't have one by itself. So we need to move this 2x. That cancels. That leaves me 2y equals -2x plus 4. Can't combine those. They're not like terms. I need to divide by 2 for each term. That cancels. -2 divided by -2 is -1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now this is going to be important when we get to the next unit because this is the linear function. I don't know if you remember, but y equals mx plus b. So that's what we just did there. All right, here we're solving for w. So we're going to need to move this 2w by subtracting because it's positive. So that's going to give me P minus 2L equals 2W. Okay, now I'm going to divide each term by 2. So I get P over 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that just leaves me L equals W. All right, guys, we're getting close to getting done. I hope it's making some sense. Don't forget to practice whatever the practice is going to be. Okay, here we need to solve for X. Okay, so I can subtract pi r squared. For some reason, my thing doesn't want to do that. From both sides. The x is right here that I'm trying to get by itself. That's going to give me 0. S minus pi r squared equals pi r x. I don't have x by itself yet, so I'm going to have to divide each term by pi r. Just like we did with the number earlier. So this is going to give me s over pi r. That cancels. What do we do with exponents when we divide? We subtract. So that's going to leave r. Cancel, cancel, equals x. You might want to go back and watch that part again and rework it. So look it over, think about it, make sure you understand. If not, give it a little star up here and then ask questions about it when we get back into class. All right, number 7 here. All right, we're going to solve for b. So this is 1/2 times b times h. Now we could divide by a half, but that makes it really crazy. So if you remember when you do like 1/2 divided by a 4th, you would do 1/2, change this to multiplication, and do the reciprocal. So you would get 2. So the same thing here. Instead of dividing by a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which in this case is 2 on both sides. So that gives me 2a. 1/2 of 2 is just 1, so that cancels, equals bh. Now at this point, you got to go back and ask, what am I solving for? I'm solving for my b. So I'm going to divide both sides by h. So 2a over h equals b. So when you have all these letters, you have to make sure you solve for the correct one. Okay, so I want you to try and stop the video and try this, and then we're going to work it. All right, guys, how'd you do? So first of all, we need to solve for h, so we're going to get rid of that fraction first by multiplying by the reciprocal. So you get 3v. 1/3 of 3 is just 1. Pi r squared h. Now what are we solving for? That's correct, h. So we're going to divide by pi r squared. Pi r squared. So this cancels out. My final answer is 3v pi r squared equals h. Did you get that? Yay! Awesome. So thanks, guys, for joining me. I hope this is making sense. Thank you.